Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, where I watch shit so you don't have to. And today I'm here to talk about season 5, episode 1 of HBO's Insecure, entitled Reunited, okay? I don't know how to say this without sounding weird, so I'm just gonna leave that. I've tried to record that Reunited, okay, like 7 times, and every time it sounds fucked up. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna leave this one. There's no way for me to say that without it sounding weird. So the main premise behind this episode, the girls as a whole are reunited. They all go to Stanford for a 10-year reunion. But more importantly, the episode focuses on the reuniting of Molly and Issa, which I think was played really well because I think, especially in the black community, we can relate to the idea of taking something fucked up and making a joke out of it. And the fact that they were able to reunite and find common ground over being robbed at gunpoint, I think it is funny, but it's also some genuinely black shit. Like, we can understand that. Like when Issa goes like, "Yo, why she didn't take my shoes though?" Like that's exactly how I would have reacted. Like you'd be scared in the moment, and then after you like, "Yo, I just got flamed by this robber. Like, she didn't take my shoes. Like, what is wrong with my shoes? Like, your shoes whack. That's what she didn't take them." But I thought this was a really strong opening to the new season. I like the fact that I think each of these characters is going to have a particularly interesting character arc this season. I'm unsure about Tiffany and Derek, who I think the show kind of as a whole shortchanges those two, that pair. But I really like the direction that they're going with Kelly already. I feel like even though we end this episode with Molly and Issa seemingly reunited, it's pretty clear, especially if you look at this season on Insecure, that little piece that they put at the end of the episode. It's pretty clear that things are not going to stay, as good as they seem at the end of this episode. And then we're still, which we barely even touched on it in this episode, we still have to play out Issa's love life. I saw that Nathan is going to be in future episodes. Obviously, Lawrence is going to be around. You have Condolences and her baby. So like, there's all kinds of. Well, I can't just call her baby. Her and Lawrence's baby. I'm sure probably fucking Daniel's raggedy ass gonna pop back up at some point. So there's still all that to kind of play out as well. But I want to get into a couple of things that I found the most worth talking about when it comes to this episode. And the first is Issa's grappling with her perceived lack of success at this stage in her life. There's a great scene where she's talking to her college self in the mirror, and it starts off real funny with the whole teeth thing or whatever. I thought that was a great moment, but it evolves into a conversation where college Issa is like, "Well, you got this, right?" And you're like, "No, not really." "Well, you got that, right?" "No, I don't really have that." And it's a conversation where, and I'm sure we've all had this. Maybe we all haven't, but those of us who strive to make something of our lives have these moments where we kind of like compare ourselves to other people. What is this person doing? This person has found success at 30 and I'm doing whatever at 30. So, what am I doing wrong? And Issa's on this panel at Stanford about entrepreneurship, and everyone else on the panel seems a lot more secure in where they're at in their careers and where they're at in their entrepreneurship. And Issa's we've seen the struggle. Issa's been back and forth trying to do all of these great things for her community and for herself, and kind of struggling. And she's put in a position where now she's looking in the face of 3 other people. I believe it was a 4-person panel. 3 other people who are already in the place that she's trying to get to. And that always puts you in a position where you get self-reflective and you think, okay, what did I do wrong? What do I need to do to where I can be on the same level as these people, even though they're my age, younger than me? And that's why I love, every now and then you see these memes that talk about successful people who didn't find their success until later in life. I think the most common reference of this is J.K. Rowling. I don't remember how old she was, but it's something like she didn't write the Harry Potter books until she was like in her late 40s or something like that. It's something that just goes to show you that you can be 30, you can be 40, you can be 50, and your greatest successes could still be ahead of you. And Issa spends this time in this episode reflecting on her own self-doubt about how little she perceives herself to have accomplished at this point in her life. And I think that's so relatable especially to creatives or to people who aspire to get out of the 9 to 5 grind and who want to do something for themselves on their own that they control, like me and this channel, for instance. I can't help but do that. Like I've been doing these videos now on this channel for almost a year, and I've seen the progression. I'm better at doing this. The videos look better, but all in all, it's not a very successful channel so far. But should it be after 11 months? Probably not. So I'm, extra hard on myself. I'm like, why is there people who have less insightful content than I do, who look at this from a less intuitive angle, but their videos have 50,000 views or 100,000 views or 1,000,000 views, and my video only has 400 views? Why is my video? It's something that when you hold yourself to a higher standard, you can't help but compare yourself to others. And I think they did a really great job showing Issa kind of dealing with that in this episode. Also, we noticed that Molly and Issa want to be cool again. I think Molly more so. And I like how Molly kind of went to Kelly for advice. And the reason I want to point that out is because the other aspect of this episode that I really like was what they did with Kelly. It was very kind of subtle, but you could see Kelly is really starting to be worn down with the idea that she's not being taken seriously. And she gave really good advice to Molly in that moment, to kind of just keep pressing on and keep being there for her. And it was really sound advice. And Kelly is constantly looked at as a joke, like she's made fun of, she's laughed at, she's not taken seriously. And this all kind of culminates, I think, when she arrives at the reunion and there's like a in memoriam thing for her, like they think she's dead. And the quotes about her, which I'm going to get to in a moment, all show a lack of awareness of who she even is. And, they fuck with her in the car about this, and you could tell she's really upset about it. And I like the fact at the end of the episode, we see her kind of, I'm assuming, starting a podcast of some sort, or maybe she's been doing it. I don't know. But I think it's going to make it for a really interesting arc for her to be looked at as someone or to feel as if you are someone who is not taken seriously when all around you, your friends' lives, especially from our lens as the viewer, we're taking them all seriously. Like Molly and Issa's relationship, we take that seriously. We take Tiffany and Derek's relationship seriously. We take the group's collective relationship seriously. We take Issa and her relationships with men seriously. But Kelly's always looked at as a joke. And I think that this podcast angle that she's going with, because she sounds incredible, just like she has the voice for it. And I know the actress herself, Natasha Rothwell, has the range for something like this to really give some powerful performances. I don't know if you guys saw White Lotus. She was in there, and I thought she was really good. So I'm interested to see where they're going to take. I was about to call her Natasha. Where they're going to take Kelly, but I want to talk a little bit before I get into the quotes surrounding Kelly. I also want to talk about at the end of the episode, when Issa returns from Stanford, she's picked up by Lawrence and dropped off. And Lawrence goes, should we? Almost like asking, so are we going in together? And Issa essentially shoots him down. And again, I think that's kind of relatable for a lot of people. The idea of you might want to be with somebody, but all of the baggage and emotions surrounding it, you get to a point where you realize that that's not healthy to voluntarily put yourself into. And we all know the history that Issa and Lawrence have. We now know that Condolences is pregnant with his kid. That's all kinds of are you going to welcome that level of drama and potential messiness into your life voluntarily? So it shows Issa making a sound decision. But I mean, obviously, I think we all kind of know it's not going to be that simple. But I like, so far Issa's off to a great start as far as, making the decisions that are best for her. So I think, let me check out my notes and make sure that I haven't missed any of the important things that I wanted to talk about. Let's see. I talked about the panel, comparing yourself to others. Yeah. Okay, so I think I've covered all the important things that I wanted to talk about. But the last thing I want to talk about with this episode and the show as a whole is I think it's everyone who watches it and who likes it knows it's a funny show, but I think it's still undervalued in just how funny it is. I love the start of the mirror scene with the teeth. I love that there's so many great one-liners that happen throughout this episode. But most importantly, I loved what they did with the quotes about Kelly, with everyone thinking that she's dead. If you did not pause pause your playing of this. I mean, maybe you watched it live, so you couldn't pause it. But I watch it on HBO Max, right after Succession. So I was able to pause it and rewind and stuff like that. And if you did not pause it to look at some of these quotes, you really missed out. So I'm going to read all of the quotes from the episode that were about Kelly. So the first one, which is one of the better ones, is Issa's quote. And it said, "Kelly will always be Kelly, laughs." And like the fact that they put laughs in there, like she probably said, "Kelly will always be Kelly," and laughed. The fact that they put laughs in there, I think made that quote extra funny. That was a good one. And Issa didn't even give a shit. She's like, "Yeah, she will always be Kelly." And then the first group of quotes are from the slideshow presentation or whatever that was going on at whatever party they were at toward the beginning of the episode when they find out that Kelly is thought to be dead. Says she could always make me laugh. That's a pretty simple one. She had the best stanky leg, which we saw her casually perform. She always carried a purse. I thought that was a good one. Tiffany read that to her during that scene, which I thought was good. And then the best ones are the ones when they show like this yearbook photo or something, this yearbook page, and it has all these quotes about Kelly. Person said, "Oh, Kelly, she's gone." I like that one. "Kelly was good." That must have been written by a 5-year-old. She helped me find my class first day of freshman year. That's something. like no respect for Kelly whatsoever. And that's why I said I love this angle of her finally taking this to heart and saying, I'm done being looked at as a joke. I'm done being looked over. I'm done with these low expectations of what I bring to the table. Like, I like that assertiveness coming from Kelly, and that in concert with Issa kind of understanding that, she needs to get past this idea of, trying to measure herself up against other people. I think that's going to make for really good story arcs for those two. And then my favorite one, that the one that made me pause it and had me cry and laugh, is just, she knew her way around. Like, why is this? It's so dismissive of Kelly. Like, yeah, she knew where she was going. Okay, all right. But all in all, I thought this was a really strong episode. It was really funny. I really like the character arcs for Issa as far as measuring herself up against others. I really like this character arc for Kelly. I like the idea of Molly and Issa reuniting over something that I feel like Black people can really relate to. The idea of, taking something shitty and finding humor in it and turning it into jokes and really, really funny jokes. Like, that's so ingrained in our culture, and I love that they depicted that in this episode. But Molly and Issa reuniting over that, potentially probably still going to have a fallout again later. And then the situation, the dynamic of Issa and all of these various potential angles with men, with Nathan or with Lawrence or maybe with Daniel or whoever might pop back up. So I'm really looking forward to this season. I do plan on covering this show every week, as I am with Succession, which airs right before Insecure. So what you can expect on Monday is I'm going to put the Succession videos up first, and then I'm going to put the Insecure videos up after. So you could probably expect this one's going to be up a little bit earlier than normally it would be during the day, because I got the Succession video up super soon. But in general, I would say probably expect Succession video, if you watch those, in the later part of the morning, maybe like the 11-ish range, and then expect the Insecure videos mid-afternoon, 2-ish, something like that. So that's what Mondays are going to look like going forward. So I'll see you guys for the next 10 weeks. Peace.